Welcome back to the Entertainment Roundup. I am J77, and today I got 5 stories I want to talk about. I might as well get to the sports world because it has become a bit of a bombshell, even though it wasn't intended to be a bombshell, and that is involving a couple of personalities from WFAN, as well as a baseball player from the New York Mets by the name of Daniel Murphy, his wife, C-sections, and paternity leave. Now, let me just get on to how this whole thing got started. As you guys know, baseball season has started already. Last week was the opening week for baseball. For those of you guys who are following your local sports, you may be jumping for joy of how much of a good start they are having. If you're following the teams like the Mets and Yankees, you're not too happy at all. In fact, you're pretty much nervous. Yankees have only won 2 out of 5. Basically, not doing very well and already hit by injuries. Mets, no different. They had a 3-game losing streak, and they pretty much snapped that 3-game losing streak by winning 2 themselves. Overall, they both are 2-3 in their first 5 games. A lot of stuff has been coming around. A lot of stuff that is happening, especially with injury reports. A little worrisome with the pitching, of course. But all that seemed just almost took a step aside. All that was put in the back burner pretty much against another story involving the Mets, and that was Daniel Murphy. Now, this all started when it was word that Daniel Murphy took paternity leave to be with his loved ones. Now, for me, that's not a big deal. People take leave of absence to be with loved ones, especially when their wives is about to give birth. That's exactly what happened. Daniel Murphy's wife have gave birth to their first child. And many people was questioning how long would he be out. Mike Francesa was the first time I've heard about it. Some caller called about him being paternity leave, and the caller did not understand that. According to the reports, it was only going to be 3 days. He came back in 2, but it was only 3 days. But he didn't understand since when it became a norm that men, not women, but men get paternity leave, and why they need a week to be out on paternity leave. Now, you notice I didn't say anything about Daniel Murphy because it wasn't really much about Daniel Murphy. It was about the fact that you have men being given decent length of time for paternity leave. And that was involved something that I didn't even know was on the books at a federal level. If you guys look it up, depending on which state you are, there are actual federal laws that require that men take paternity leave to be with their wives, which is kind of weird. I mean, I didn't think that actually was possible. And it varies from state to state. And that was where the big debate comes. And Mike Francesa had brought this out. He said that he didn't understand why men need that long week, to be with their loved ones. They didn't deliver the baby. He's not the one that's going through complications. So why would he need that long stretch? And it was also involve another person who had actually 10 days, only used 2, and then months later use the other ones. And that's when the whole conversation said, what you going to use the rest for? Mike Francesa also mentioned that for someone in his shoes, and I want to keep it again, in his shoes, and those who are baseball players, they can actually hire some help. And once they hire some help, they can get right back to work because they need to work. And he also put it on himself that when his children was born, he was back to work the next day because what can he do? Watch his wife sleep. He can't do anything. He can't take the children home, so he just worked the next day. And look, that's fine. If that's how he wants to do it, that's fine. And he said there was no problems, no situation, so he worked. This sprung up a huge debate on WFAN for most of the afternoon. People called in and voiced their agreement or disagreement depending on what your side of the situation. And this pretty much trickled over to the point where even the media was addressing it to the Mets. The Mets had to address this and how many days it was. And I just kind of find it strange, like, why is this such a big deal? But it wasn't really about Daniel Murphy in general. It was just about the fact of the federal law and how many days should be really appropriate. But in any case, this thing did blow up way out of proportion to the point where it got Boomer Esiason in a whole lot of heat. And if you understand why, it was pretty much it was pretty much deservedly so. Boomer Esiason have said something in regards to Daniel Murphy taking a leave of absence, where he basically blown out the word C-section. Now, I have seen the video because Boomer Carton is not just on the radio, but is also on the video. And I did that for a reason, because I wanted to see his facial expression. And needed to say, I did not know if he was joking. It didn't sound like he was joking, but he was in a very heated debate. He said the word, and then he continued going on, and I don't even think he realized he said the word. But in any case, he did say C-section, pretty much saying he didn't understand why people need to have that long length of time. And needless to say, it did hit a firestorm, and many people was not very happy about it. The media picked up on it, and even went as far as blaming, and undeservedly so, Mike Francesa for also criticizing Daniel Murphy, where in reality he actually didn't criticize Daniel Murphy. He was supportive of what Daniel Murphy was doing. He was keeping it on him that he wouldn't be out for that longer time. Boomer Esiason then later on apologized. I will read what he had to say, but needless to say, it did struck a chord, and he said in these words, and this is his quote, and there is also video confirmation about this, so you guys can look it up yourself if you want. He said, I want to say again on this radio show that I'm no way, shape, or form that I'm advocating anybody to do was not telling women what to do with their bodies. I would never do that. That is their decision. That's their life, and they know their bodies better than I do. This was what Boomer Esiason said. Former NFL quarterback who is the co-host of Boomer and Carton on CBS WFAN morning show. This is what he also said. The other thing that I felt really bad about it is that Daniel Murphy and Tori Murphy, his wife, was dragged into the conversation, and their whole lives was exposed. And it shouldn't have been it shouldn't have been, and that's my fault. It's my fault for uttering the word C-section on this radio station. All of a sudden put their lives in the spotlight, and I truly apologize. He goes on and said that he tried to reach out to Daniel Murphy. He also reached out to the Miss Organization, which they did respond to it. He actually tried to talk to him. I don't know if he actually got through. He did say that I truly feel terrible about what I put them through, and I certainly apologize. And the article here, and you don't even need to look at the article, just go look up WFAN Boomer and Carton, look up the situation with Daniel Murphy. I know that a couple guys have it on YouTube, and you can hear from himself, because I think it's very important to hear from himself than to hear from the article, because there are some things that the article got wrong. And this is why it's sometimes important to keep looking for research, especially what Mike Francesa. Mike Francesa got criticized with something he didn't really do. I mean, and I kind of find it kind of sad that they kept putting him in the burner. But then again, Mike Francesa is one of the most top-notch personalities on WFAN, so he's going to get the brunt of the hit, whether he did something or not. And the further note, and before I leave on this note, is that this whole thing, it really did get blown out of proportion. Out of all the things that I've seen, this was the one that truly got blown out of proportion, because the whole conversation wasn't even about Daniel Murphy. It was about some other stuff that the radio personalities was talking about, what they feel. Joe Domingo, who I'm a big fan of, said he will not take that long days off. He's not the one having a child. He can understand no problem about a mother taking as much days off as they can, because they got to go through the birth. There may be complications, and he can understand that they themselves have to get readjusted. At the same time, I actually like what Evan Roberts have said, that this is no longer back in the days, meaning that you cannot compare what happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago to now. Things have changed. Parents, the fathers are more involved with the process of the pregnancy. And this is something that they want to be a part of, and why not let them be a part of and let them help out, especially if the family is going through some complications, whether it's the mother or the baby. And that's something that I was glad that Evan Roberts have actually brought up. So it was a very debate more on the laws, how many days should a man should actually leave, it wasn't about Daniel Murphy taking a leave of absence, and that's the whole thing. I think that that the media have actually blown up way too much in this whole thing. I'm gonna let you guys decide. I'm gonna leave a link to that. If you guys want me to leave a link to the WFAN, the conversation between Bill, Boomer and Carton, I will do that, but you gotta have to request for it, and I will link it to you guys if you guys put it in the conversation you want to hear it. But in any case, that's what happened. It is on YouTube. Guys can check it out yourself if you want to. It is something that is uh, definitely worth debating about because it wasn't something I didn't know. I didn't know it was federal law. I really didn't. All right, let's move on here. You guys have heard about the Noah's movie. A lot of reviews for Noah. It's kind of funny. This film actually got good reviews, better reviews than I actually expected. Needless to say, for every good review, it seemed like a lot of the conservative Christians do not like this movie. Apparently, neither did Malaysia. I hope I'm saying that right. Malaysia, I believe, has joined other Islamic countries on banning the Hollywood biblical epic Noah, starring Russell Crowe, decrying it as irreligious and saying that it violates Islamic law against depicting prophets. How? I don't know. I didn't see the movie, so I can't really say. I do know that Jeremy Johns had mentioned something that was actually interesting. A lot of other people said it was interesting that it's not really a religious movie, but pretty much a movie just in general, an entertainment film. And I think religious don't take too kindly to that. The film has already angered some Christian institutions in the United States over Crowe's reportedly unconventional portrayal of Noah, who is regarded as an important figure in both Christianity and Islam. Malaya's Home Ministry Film Censorship Board Unit Chairman Abdul said the decision to ban the Noah film was made about 2 weeks ago. Yes, I can confirm it has been banned by the board. The movie can cause quite a lot of anger and distress if it's shown in that country. He has quoted as saying, the Muslim Mail Online, Abdul Ahem said that the main reason for the ban was betrayal of Noah by Russell Crowe, since Islam forbids visual depictions of any prophet. Freedom, gentlemen, freedom. Oh, man. Oh, well, look, like I said, there was a lot of reports about this movie. I may just check it out just for the fun of it. But a lot of people have said that it definitely does take some stuff out from the Bible, but it definitely goes in a whole different direction. I kind of find it amazing how people take the Bible as the God honest truth and nothing else. But that's just me. I'm not even going to go there. But to me, look, the film has actually done well. I don't think Hollywood cares. I mean, the film has done surprisingly well with a bigger budget. Yes, I can safely say from the reviews that I've seen from the Smos, Jeremy Johns, and even some hot top-notch critics, they're saying that, yeah, this film doesn't go by the rules of what the Bible says or betrayal. I don't know what it is. I know Emma Watson said it was one of the most toughest roles she ever did. They said Russell Crowe was brilliant in the film. But again, keep in mind, it's a movie. I'm not going to go nuts. Christian films are very up and down with me. There are some I actually do enjoy. A lot of them that you guys are surprised that I even enjoy. There are some Christian films that don't do me anything other than just anger me some more. But in this film, I have to see it. I don't know exactly what it is that's angering a lot of people. I just think it because it's Noah, and it's not the way they expect Noah to be looked or betrayed, and it's not really a text-for-text description of what was said in the book that I think a lot of people was getting a little anger on. I will say this: at least it's not banned in the United States. Other countries have done it, so it's, to me, I think if they're gonna do that, they're gonna start banning films because it's too sensitive. Then it's really not the film that that's the problem. It's the people who's running that country is, and the people who think that everything should not be politically correct. That's political correctness, nothing more, nothing less. I'll leave you guys a link below. You guys can talk about it. I'm gonna move right along and talk about James Bond. He's going to court. MGM, James Bond producers, sues Universal Studios over Section 8 project. Interesting. It says here that MGM and James Bond producers, they spelled this name wrong, have filed a copyright infringement suit against ABC Universal's, claiming the studio's Section 6 feature the project is a ripoff of a lucrative James Bond franchise. The suit filed later Thursday in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles also named screenwriter Aaron Briggs. This lawsuit concerns a motion picture project, an active development featuring a daring tuxedo-clad British secret agent employed by the Mystery Secret Service with a license to kill and a double O secret agent number on a mission to save England from a diabolical plot. The villain, the suit, what the hell? Mega Luger. Another spelling error. I was bad at spelling. Mega Olumio villain. I don't know what the suit states. Most moviegoers would assume from the description, along with the lawsuit, concerned that the next James Bond picture does not. It does not. The lawsuit is instead about James Bond knockoff that defects that differentiates from Universal is already in for production, based on the screenplay that Briggs have wrote. The suit claims that the project, which is directed by Joe Cornish, Attack the Block. Wow, they got him on it, and stars Jack O'Connell, Unbroken, misappropriated from the James Bond work far beyond the signature aspects of James Bond, but that it is a copy and details nearly every aspect of the character's plot, dialogue, theme, setting, mood, and other key elements of the copyrighted James Bond literary work of the motion picture. Sorry, guys. The court has been even defining the extent of the work copyrighting cover not just the specific project, but the unique character. In 1995, the federal court in Los Angeles ruled in favor of MGM in its contingency that a Honda commercial violates copyright with the commercial that invokes Bond, even though the name was not used. MGM and you are tangled over the project for several months. The suit states that MGM claimed that it learned of the existence of the screenplay and that you had acquired the rights to it, and then fired off a letter. You respond that it had not even opted the project and that it has no intention of violating the copyright MGM complaint status. The article also calls and say, but last month the report that you had hired a director, lead actor for producer for the project triggered MGM's ire again. MGM asked to see the most recent vision of the screenplay, but Universal refused. The complaint stated MGM contained. The later version of Section 6 led to the conclusion that Universal is continuing to develop the screenplay that constitute an unauthorized work or based upon the plaintiff's copyrighted James Bond work, MGM said. Oh boy. The screenplay was the project stated that its premises, the historical fact of the lawsuit but MGM and Danjar claim. That's what they got it here, guys. I'm being real. That's exactly. I didn't misquote that. That's exactly what it is. DANJAQ. There's no U in there. So claims that the core element of the fictional are fictional. It also contains that even though you assures that the project is a historical account of information of MI6. Immediately after World War I, the dialogue and relationship between the characters are sticking out of place and year ahead of this time for the story set in 1918. So there we go. It also concluded that the stew contained a Section 6 in-bust their James Bond knockoff with the license to kill employment by MI6 Magic Secret Service, and double agent number, all creation of Ian Fleming. MGM argues. MGM and John are seeking an injunction to prevent Universal for what they claim is an infringement of the Bond work. Now, I find this very interesting for a lot of reasons, and let's just get right straight up to the point. From when the Bond franchise was born in 1961. I'm not even talking about the book. I'm talking about the movies. And I believe by movie 3, Bond 3, which is Goldfinger, how many Bond knockoffs have actually came out? Let's be realistic here. Spy genre was born through Bond, and there was a lot of them that was similar to Bond. There were a lot of them that was not even close to Bond. Secret Agent Man comes up a lot. Dial M comes up a lot. There was a lot. There was even a lot of movies that tried to emulate what Bond was doing that was a success. We had in the United States, like Flint, the sequel, Our Man Flint. We had a couple of B-rated films that tried to emulate the Bond franchise. So there has been so many of them out there that I find it funny that now, when anybody who uses the word MI6 or Magic Secret Service or even 00, automatically they assume that it's Bond. I don't honestly think that it is. It has to have something else that really says, yeah, we're copying over James Bond. It's not like those Bruce Lee exploitations or even that last Pink Panther film that actually went the downfall of Pink Panther that showed that they were actually infringing on the work. Because there were other ones out there, and some were pretty much close to what Bond was. They just did their own twist on it. I don't know how far it's going to go. It does look like they're trying to protect the rights, which they have the right to do. If they are taking a Bond character and they put it in a movie without their permission, they have the right to protect their work. But they have to also prove that that is exactly what they're doing. They're ripping off the Bond formula. And they're going to also have to prove that nobody else came close to that either. Because, again, we already know there was other Bond series that came out to it. Keep in mind, Bond sparked it, the spy genre back then. The spy genre really hit its peak with 007, and everything that came right after that was either okay or didn't quite live up to the expectation. But we always have 007, the genuine one. And I don't think too many people is going to make a distinction between what Universal is doing and what MGM is doing. We know the real Bond films. We know the ones that is not real of the Bond films, and the one that people like to forget that they were actually got the Bond name in the first place. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think they think more the problem is they're trying to protect what is rightfully theirs. Keep in mind, Bond has become bigger than ever before. The last Bond Skyfall was the biggest highest-grossing film in all the Bond movies. So you know they want to continue on with the Bond formula. You know they want to continue without no one else trying to emulate what they have done or even outright steal it. So this is actually going to be interesting. And keep in mind, this is not the first time MGM has gotten into many lawsuits to go on the Bond character. So this is going to be something that is very typical, and you just hope that this gets solved very quick. Because the last thing you want to do, because this actually happened, and I don't even need to explain the history. If you're a Bond fan, you know it. These lawsuits sometimes can actually stall production for a very long time, not just for the one they're suing, but for the company as well. And they don't want to do that. You don't want to see a Bond not come out and it will not come out next year. You want to see it come out next year. You don't want to see it come out 7 years later. That is exactly what happened between View to Kill and Goldeneye. It was a good 6 years before we saw another Bond film. So hopefully that's what I'm more concerned about than anything else before. But you guys may disagree. I'd like to hear your opinion. Let's move on. Now, I'm just going to go on straight up right now. I have not seen out one episode of Sam and Cat. This is a big news because a lot of people are worried about what's going on with this Nickelodeon show. In the last few days, I actually was debating whether to do it as a standalone video, which I actually did a video on an audio talking about this, but I never posted it, and I just basically decided, you know what, I'm gonna pull back. I want to hear more of the story. Let me do more research on the story, just hear one story, and I'm glad I did because there's so much stuff being thrown around about this. I believe Adrienne Grande slams rumors about McCurdy, Sam and Cat's salary. And the reason why this is becoming a big deal because a lot of reports, conflicting reports, I may say, have said that they were both fighting at each other. One report actually said it's because uh, it was because of money issues. They one was making more money than the other. Also, there was some reports of the fact is that they actually stalled production because neither one of them have actually was on the set. There was a whole lot of other reports stating that the reason why they didn't go to Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards was because of their agreement, and the fact is that McCurdy felt disrespected from Nickelodeon. There was also some pictures, some inappropriate pictures that they claimed that was being leaked online. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not even buying that. For the fact is that I find it kind of strange that these photos that which the person, the one of the stars have actually was in, whether it's nude photos or photos in lingerie, always mysteriously leaked. Just keep that in mind. If it was leaked out, the chances are the person who's on that photo did the leaking. So I'm just keeping that in mind. That I find it very suspicious that all of a sudden became an issue. I understand the Nickelodeon is a children's show. I understand that they have to be concerned about the image, but I just not buying that someone just stole those photos. I'm just not. If there's something that actually tells me that this actually didn't happen, fine. But to me, I think the person who's on that photo was the person who actually put it out there. That's my opinion. But apparently, there was a lot of things that was going on, and it led me to do a lot of research here. And it needed to say, in the last of this article, it basically said that Nickelodeon said that they are just shutting down for a while, give everybody a chance to breathe after they have shot a lot of episodes. And when I say a lot of episodes, I do mean a lot of episodes. This Cat and Sam had 40 episodes. This is only the first season. An average season, I would say they make it a season, is anywhere between 12 to 24, 30 the max. They did 40 episodes. That's a lot. You can actually cut from the season, have 2 seasons for the price of 1. That's how long the season was. And needless to say, that was the main reason why they say that that's the reason why they shut it down. And they said it's not going to be canceled, which is something that everybody thinks is going to happen. But it is something that is definitely gonna be people gonna watch out for because they don't know if this show is gonna come back. Keep in mind this show is a huge hit. You have 2 stars from 2 different shows coming together, and they made a pretty much a spin-off, and it actually has worked. Many fans have drawn into this. It was one of the most successful shows ever. Yet you also have the behind-the-scenes situations, which honestly could actually throw that on the throw the show right off the rails. Now, it did says here, I'm going to read what it says. I choose not to go because sticking up for what is right and what is fair, but my mom taught me is always the most important thing. Now, this is from McCurdy, who tweeted her absence that following day. This was when she didn't show up for the Kids' Choice Awards in 2014. And she said, I wish I could explain everything as thoroughly as I would like to, but unfortunately, a similar explanation is all I can do. This was McCurdy, who had tweeted this out about her absence. The following day, I was put under an uncomfortable, compromising, unfair situation. Many of you have guessed what that is, and I had to look out for me. I choose not to go because I'm sticking up for what is right, as was already explained, and for what my mom taught me is always the most important thing, she added. I want to thank those who you have reached out with, kind words and support, and McCurdy is, and as well as the other actors alike. No matter who or what you support, I believe in supporting fairness first. If you have done that, thank you. This is something that said that new photos of the actress was leaked last month, but according to McCurdy, the incident wasn't a factor in her decision to stay home. My previous tweet has nothing to do with the pics leaked or you guys, LOL. You later told her fans it has to do with how Nickelodeon treated me. That is all. Thank you for the love. McCurdy has yet to respond to Green's comments. I don't think she is going to do that. But I'm going to say this right now. Basically, I do believe it has something to do with the money. I really do believe that. That's one. Two, I think Nickelodeon, and I'm not so sure of the situation, but I think Nickelodeon needs to look at their actresses and ask themselves one thing. Were they the right pick for this show? And the reason why I say it is not because I think they're bad. It's not because I think their fans are bad. It's not because I think the show is bad. Like I said, I haven't seen the show, so I can't judge the show. I'm not going to even go attempt to judge the show. I'm looking at these two actors' ages. And I think there's time that we need to come to reality here. They're not teenagers. This is a teenage show, but the two actresses who are in this show are not teens. They're young adults. One is 21, another one is 20. They're not children. They're not teenagers. They're adults. And I think Nickelodeon needs to come to grips with this, that they're going to make adult decisions that's best for them. Whether you believe they should be a teamwork play or not, hey, look, I believe in teamwork, but I also have to be realistic of it. These these actresses may not want to do teenage roles anymore. And if they want to continue doing teenage roles, you're going to have to pay them. And that's something I think Nickelodeon, underestimated when they put these two together. One is a singer. She has performed in singing. Her career is taken off very well. The creator who has done the tweet have also have her own project to do. These are two grown adults, and you got to ask yourself, how much more can they actually take? Now, granted, if you looked at them on picture, they can still betray a 17, 18-year-old. That's no question. But in reality, they're not 17, 18 years old. And you also got to ask yourself, how much more can they play this role before they finally get typecast? Because this can actually happen. A lot of times they can't escape that image that they have put out there, and it could hurt their career. Now, they do have contracts, for what I understand, for what I've read in other reports, that McCurdy wanted to try and negotiate a contract. Nickelodeon didn't, and that led to her being very, very angry. She felt disrespected as always, but this is also a salary dispute that you kind of expect to happen. I don't know what Nickelodeon is going to do. You got to hope, for their sake at least, that they can actually resolve this so they can have the show. But keep in mind of something else, and I'm very, very interested here. They did 40 episodes. That is a lot of episodes to do in one season. And I kind of wonder if they did that because they felt something was about to happen. They want to get as many episodes out as possible. Because again, it is a lot of work to do 3 episodes in one day. They did 40. And that is not, and it can't be stressful. It can't be draining. I mean, these ain't just 2-hour shoots. These are hours, like 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. You name it. They're doing a lot of shooting. I didn't count the makeup yet. So keep that in mind when it is. I'm actually curious what Patricia thinks about this. And I'm pretty sure she had mentioned this in her reports. But it is something that I'm going to keep an eye on because this is Nickelodeon's #1 show. It is. And I don't think Nickelodeon or the people behind Nickelodeon would be too kindly if this show is to certainly disappear. So just keep that in mind when you guys have seen this. So again, I'll leave a link. You guys can talk about it, but I'm going to move right on. Finally today, there's going to be a change in the guard in the last chapter of the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. According to this, there's going to be a character switch. This is something that has been talking about. Game of Thrones actress Gwendoline Christine will replace actress Lily Rape, I believe. Rape, as a Commander Limb character in Lionsgate's The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Rape was forced to drop out due to scheduling conflict in the previous with her previous commitment to perform March to Do About Nothing at Shakespeare in the Park. Interesting. Commander Lee character is one of the leaders of District 13 and hailed from District 2 as they pass victor in of the Hunger Games. Christine plays the bodyguard named Bernie Upturn. I have not seen one of Game of Thrones. My apologies. Not something I'm into right now. Of the Game of Thrones, the English native is 6'3". Wow. Mockingjay Part 1 hits theaters on November 21st. Mockingjay Part 2 will be out on November 20th, 2015, so it'll be 1 year apart from each other. Francis Lawrence begins shooting the two-part film in Atlanta in September, with production including later this spring near Paris and Berlin. The studio decided in mid-2002 to split the final Mockingjay book of Susan Collins' trilogy, I hope I'm saying her name right, into the two films. Lionsgate has booked Berlin massive. They put these words together for reasons that are not. Tempelhof Airport, built in 1927, considered by the Nazis as a symbol of superiority and it was closed for 6 years. A huge apartment complex outside of Paris for shooting the battle scene. So there you go, guys. There's gonna be a lot of stuff happening. The first two Hunger Games films have grossed over $6.1 billion worldwide. That's what it says here. And no doubt they're going to get a lot more money once the two shows here. So basically put, if you see a different actress in Part 2 playing a different role, don't discourage. That was planned. I don't know, guys. You guys are Hunger Games fans out there. Are you going to be happy about this? I don't see a big deal. This is not the first time this happened. Keep in mind, the Matrix have had to do an actress switch themselves, and that was largely because the actress who played the Oracle passed away, and they needed to have a different actress to play it. Was it awkward? Yeah, it was, but you know what? At least they actually acknowledged that that was not really the same Oracle for the film, so they basically acknowledged that, and they did it pretty much with some class there. So I do expect that. I know a lot of people don't like the Matrix films too much. I thought they were fine, but that's a flashback review to get to another day. So this is not surprising as well. I don't know if breaking these two movies up is a good thing or a bad thing or not. It really all depends on how much source material they've taken out, how much they're going to add, as well as how much they're going to take away. And whether or not they will do real truth to this movie that's going to be coming out. I do know one thing though. If you ask me, is this a money pool? Of course it is. They saw this franchise being as a money maker, and they are trying to milk it for as much money as possible. As for the end of this game, I don't know if it's going to come out be a sequel. I don't. I have the book. I'm reading it now. I actually like the book. I really do. The book is very, very good. But that's another story for that time. But in this case, for those who are Hunger Game fans, I'd like to hear your opinion on it. Do you think this is a tough move for them? Personally, I don't think they have much of a choice. If she has other commitments and this is going to take too much from a commitment, then they're going to have to make the move. But do you feel the casting was the right move? Leave your comments below. Let me know. Leave your comments for all the videos, all the news conferences I have talked about. And until next time, this is J77 saying take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.